up in the next few years, and the deer aren't going to get them either. So thought I'd bring them to class with me today. Okay, so our practice today, have the toys you want, a strap, a towel, blocks, blanket, pillows, any of those things that you need. The process that we're going to go through today is one of moving and holding. So for example, the first pose after we center ourselves will be the sunflower. So we'll do about 5 of moving things, and then we're going to hold in the goddess pose, and then we'll go to crescent pose and touch the earth and lift and do that about 5 times, and then we'll hold in crescent pose, and we'll do the same thing with eagle. We'll move in and out of the eagle pose 5 times, and then we'll hold with balance. So then we'll get to the mat and do some upper body and some core, and that should cover a lot of things. So let's see if there was somebody sending me a message. I don't, oh, we lost Val. Oh, she's back. Okay. So anyway, that's the plan, Stan. As always, if there's anything going on with your body, you slept on your neck, you stubbed your toe, you know, all these things happen. So if you need to accommodate and not do or modify, I'll show those modifications, especially with the balance things. I know balance can be a challenge. So we come to Samastiti. Let's start standing in our centering. So come over to your mat. I never know if the sun is coming or not coming. It should be going this way. So that's the east. This is the west for me. Now I'm going to stand on my mat this way, but you can stand on it this way, and then eventually when we get to some of the other poses, whatever orientation you want, I'll show you how to work around on your mat. But let's come to Samastiti by establishing Tadasana, the mountain pose. So I have my feet parallel. I root my toes, the heels, the outer inner edges of my feet. I engage the muscles of my thighs, so it's like I'm lifting my kneecaps, and then maybe a little squeezing of the legs in or pushing them out. So I just have a lot of action and grounded support through my base. Coming to Mula Bandha, engaging, action of Uddiyana without squeezing the tush, lifting the spine, feeling that vertebra extend upward all the way through the crown of your head, and then a natural relaxing of the shoulders with the fingers reaching toward earth. As some people say, the hands should be forward. They can be, or they can be in. In other words, they're not just relaxed, because that makes everything else kind of go relaxed. So come and be the vibrant you. And as you stand in this mindful, well-supported, good postural position, you can leave your eyes opened or lowered or even closed, and tune into your own breath, moving away from everything around you, the sounds, the noises, the clutter of the mind. Let that focus on the breath and attentiveness to your body just let you be home. Home with yourself. Home to nourish all of the goodness of you and to move away the parts that we're trying to leave behind. And so bringing your eyes open, bringing yourself to you, keeping yourself with you. Let the arms stretch to the sides of your body. Just feel that you're greeting the day, lengthening through the tips of your fingers, the crown of the head, and rooted into the earth. With the palms coming together at your heart, we Cultivate our attitude of gratitude. So in whatever way you can be here, and for as long as you can be here, I am thankful. So let's go ahead and rub those hands together. You may be in a very warm environment and your hands and feet may be warm, or you may be that person that your extremities are a little chilly. So I'm just going to bring a little warmth, kind of doing a dry bath. We haven't done this one for a while. So as I bring a little warmth into my hands, so I'm going to share that warmth down my arms. So it's like I'm giving myself an air bath. So letting my arm get stroked. I'll warm up my hands again and do the same thing. By the way, I did set my watch to yoga, so I can get that credit. All right, when you're ready, you go ahead and dry bath the other arm. I know it seems silly. It's a tactile thing. Even if you have long sleeves on, it's fine. Back to rubbing my hands. So I'm going to bring a little warmth and energy into my shoulders. Now, sometimes crossing your arms over your chest to get your hands onto your upper traps is easier. So you can either bring the hands this way, or if it's easier, you can cross them around. However it is that you can get to this region. Okay, one more time. I'm going to do my hands and then I'll warm up my knees with my hands. My knees need loving. So go ahead and when you're ready, bring your hands around your knees. I've already applied my special cream on my knee. And as I come up, I'll put my hands on my side and now step my feet open, not too wide, not too close, that Goldilocks just right. So the knees are straight, not bent, and I just want to move my hips side to side. So sometimes you'll feel this in your lumbar, in your sacrum. So I'm kind of tick-tocking my hips. Now I'm going to bend one knee of the hip that I'm going to. So as I go to what would look like your right, I bend that knee gently, weight in the heel to prevent knee issues. Try not to lean too far forward. So the hip moving out, the chest staying up. There's that. Just kind of that gentle opening around the hips, but then you also notice the back, I suspect. Rocking your pelvis. So now I do soften my knees. I'll turn sideways so you can see what happens is that drop of the tailbone, lengthening my spine, almost neutralizing it, and drawing in through my belly. And then pushing the tailbone out, putting that relative curve into my back. So tucking and extending. So I'm going to take time, and you should as well, to make sure there's space in which to do this standing version of cat and cow. Oh, sometimes it's a little cranky, so patience. All right, the hula. So now we go all the way around. This one my back likes. I hope yours does. Then I'm going to go the other way. Okay, I'll do both my wrists and one ankle as I walk my feet in. Now, if you're on a thick mat and you have a hard floor nearby, you might want to step onto the hard floor. I have carpet, so I would have to go way over there to get onto a hard floor. But root down onto one leg, and you can either leave that toe lightly on the floor as you move through the ankle, and then the hands will circle around, or if you feel that your balance is okay and you can Hold the foot off the floor while breathing, going a little bit in each direction. And pausing, reaffirming your bandhas, rooting down on your other foot. So this might be the better action. Remember, it's the ankle, not the whole hip and legs. Other things will move clearly, or you can stand and work a little bit on your balance. Trying to go a little bit, doesn't matter how you circle. You could do them the same way, different ways, all different ways. Okay, let's move into the bookshelf pose. So you're welcome to turn in a different way if you want, bringing those feet just outside your hips. My legs are straight, my arms also are straight, and I lead with my heart. So I know it's tempting to have your hips go back as your chest goes forward, but I want you to feel like maybe you're diving outward. And as you dive outward, leaning into your toes, the hands stop above the knees. Ground yourself. Feel the crown of your head being drawn away, and this should allow you to straighten those elbows. And make sure you're not back in the heels, because the legs are your wall. And if you lean back, your wall is crooked. So lean into the toes, draw the shoulders down, the heart forward, and hold above the knees, so you're in that bookshelf pose. Visualize your pelvis being tipped and spreading or opening. So say good morning to your hamstrings. Maybe you can slide the hands gently over the knees toward the shins, maintaining that neutral spine, maybe not. Maybe you go more toward the shins, the ankles. If you are that very bendy person, as I know some of you are, it's appropriate to go to the mat, but it's not necessary. It's our first forward fold. So bending the knees, moving your forearms onto your thighs, shifting your weight back, lifting your head just for a moment to get your blood pressure sorted out. And then you can use the hands or not use the hands as you slowly straighten yourself all the way back up, sliding your hands to the small of your back, continuing to lift the heart. The head does not have to lift. Just feeling that separation in your vertebrae as you lift up. You can look outward, upward, backwards, whatever makes sense for you. And then right yourself. Okay, let's kind of shake things out a little bit. We should be somewhat lubricated, but we still want to be mindful. So as I said, you can present onto your mat any way that's right for you. So if you've got the short end facing this way, that's fine. If you've got it going this way and you look over your shoulder, that's fine. I will let you know how to get from here to there. Let's start with a nice wide stance. For this one, the sunflower, the toes are turned out. Mula Bandha, action of Uddiyana. Now I should note, for anybody who tends to have motion sickness or vertigo issues, this can be a problem. So that rather than making a complete circle where you go down, you may want to just kind of go out. See, my knees are bending. And my hands, maybe imagine you're holding a strap or a stick, because they're not going to cross. So it wouldn't be one arm coming around and the other arm coming up. They stay fixed. And so if I felt like I was getting dizzy, I might modify. Otherwise, the sunflower, because you know how heavy a sunflower is, they're big and they flop all the way down to the ground. So we do this 5 times in one direction. And then we bring the hands forward. You can lace the fingers or just grab the hands and turn the toes forward and sit back as if you're on a horse and do the woman, powerful woman. Yeah. And then we'll hold that for 5 breaths, and we'll go the other direction and then come back. So that's the plan. So right now your toes turn back out again, and we'll go perhaps to the right. So lift the arms, lift the heart. Remember the knees bend when you go down. And breathing out, breathing in. And as you come up, turn the toes forward, bring the hands forward, anchor your shoulders, and sit. So this is what it looks like from the side. 4 breaths. Moving to your last breath, you release the arms, you stand up, you turn your heels in or toes out, and you raise the arms. Always check with your blood pressure. So now we go to the left, 5 circles, and exhale down. As you open the arms, turn the toes forward, arms forward, anchor your shoulders, sit in the goddess pose. Hips back, should not feel the pressure on your knees. Releasing from your goddess pose and stepping your feet together. So if you're at the end of the mat or the short end of the mat, you have come from here to here. And then you're gonna step your right foot back for crescent pose. If you're coming from the long end of the mat, you're gonna turn and face either end of the short end of the mat and raise the back heel. So it can be your right, but it doesn't matter, we're gonna do both sides. So push the heel back, present the front knee over the ankle. Remember the hips, the feet are hip distance apart, so I'm not on a tightrope. So 5 movements of reaching over your head and either touching the knee or the floor, and then coming back up. So we do 5 of these. Let's begin. Back leg is straight. Follow your breath. At the 5th one, you're going to hold for 5 breaths. The arms can be overhead, out to the side, or in front. As you move to your last breath, you can either step up to the end of the mat or turn to the long end of the mat and close the posture. So we're going to return to the sunflower pose, going to the right. So if you're at the end of the mat, You're now going to turn or just step apart if you'd rather do it that way. So we're all back with our feet slightly turned out, bandhas engaged, arms go up to the right, the knees bend, 5 circles. And coming to your goddess pose, the toes go forward, the hands come out, the shoulders are down, and you sit. Think of sitting on a big Clydesdale horse. And this time as you come to your last breath, you have some options depending on your orientation. If you're on the long end of the mat like I am, you're gonna stand up, and this may put your back to me, but that's okay. You're gonna face the other end. I'll be facing the other end of my mat so that my other leg is back straight. For me, this is my left leg rather than my right leg. If you would rather do it from the end of the mat, or you're already at the end of the mat, you go back to the end of the mat, and then you step back and you get into that grounded crescent pose. So find yourself in crescent pose with the other leg behind. Back leg is straight, front knee over ankle, not behind ankle. When you're ready, we lift overhead and touch the earth, or if you prefer, the thighs. Use your breath for timing. So as you finish your last one, you will stay up in the crescent pose. Remember, the options for you is arms in front, arms to the side, or arms overhead. 5 breaths. So as you come to your last breath, you have some options. If you're working from the short end of the mat, you'll simply release the arms, lean forward, step up to the short end of the mat. If you're going to work at the long end of the mat, you turn back forward to the long end. Step your feet wide wherever you are. Now we're going to do the sunflower to the left as we exhale. Keep your arms apart. And coming to the goddess pose, turning your toes forward, gathering the hands, anchoring the shoulders, gently moving the hips back, bending the knees. Sitting upon your horse, 5 breaths. As you finish the breath, you open the arms and walk your feet together. Won't matter which end you're on because we're moving to eagle pose. So as long as you can see me, that's fine. Now you may want to if you need a counter, a chair, a wall, a screen to hold on to. So we'll be moving again 5 movements by 5 holding breaths. So let me show you what I mean. So the eagle pose is you have one leg coming up and over the standing leg, which then bends as you sit back. So you can either touch this toe, which maybe we'll all do that for the first one, or you let it float. And then eventually you come and maybe it will wrap as you hold for your breath. So it'll be either tap here, or float here and float here 5 times. So while using the right leg, we're gonna bring the left arm over. So let me get a little closer. Left arm over, you can either see the back of the hands are touching. If your elbows don't cross comfortably, you can do the back of the hands, or you can wrap, and then you open. So you want the opposite arm from the opposite leg as you move into that eagle pose. So it's 5 in and out, exhaling as you come in, inhaling as you go out. Then we'll hold in that eagle pose for 5 breaths. If you prefer a hard floor, go stand on a hard floor. So let's do the right leg, left arm, so my references to you will be the same. Readdress the foundations of bandhas and your breath. And as you breathe in, open. And as you breathe out, close. And as you breathe in, open. As you breathe out, close. 3 more. I'm touching the floor. Okay, I'm going to hold this time. Sit, sit, sit. As you take your next breath in, fly the eagle and close the pose. Now I touch the earth for both of those, opening and closing. We'll do the other leg and then we'll do a second time with floating the leg, just so you could try it. Okay, find your Tadasana, bandhas and breath, ground into your standing leg, probably your right. So this time it's going to be the right arm crossing over. So inhale, open, left leg. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Couple more. This one you're going to hold the eagle pose, so it's okay to tap the toes, sit low, shoulders down, 5 breaths. On your next inhale, fly the eagle. Close the posture. Now you can repeat that. So this time, when I go back, I'm going to lift the right leg, and then when it comes across, I'm going to hold it so that it doesn't tap the floor, unless it needs to, of course. One never knows. Follow your breath. It will give a lot of support. And then when you get to the hold, if it works out that you can actually wrap that leg around your standing leg, some people can, some people don't. So you choose. So we go to dynamic eagle. Let us begin. Inhale, open. Left arm comes over. So the next one, I'm going to come into that eagle pose and sustain it for 5 breaths. So here it is. And we fly the eagle and close the posture. Feel that calm coming back onto the other side. So it'll be the right arm coming over as the left leg opens. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Last time, we're going to hold this one. We fly the eagle and close the posture. How's your hips? Okay, so the next one is the bow and arrow in Warrior 2. So you can be facing the long end of the mat as I'm showing you here. I'm going to face the short end just because I think it's a better view. So you'll establish your warrior. You'll be doing it both sides, so it doesn't matter which foot. So as you have one foot pointing forward, step back into the crescent and then drop the heel so you get your warrior. This is going to be a little on the shallow side, so I'm going to ask you to step back into that high lunge and then drop the heel. So hips and chest turn to the side. And what often happens is the knee comes. So you leave the knee behind, your chest and your hips turn to the side. Back leg straight all the way to the pinky toe, front knee bent, grounded over your ankle. So the thumbs are up, you look at the front hand, and the back hand comes around, it grabs the bow, pulls the arrow back, and as you pull the arrow back, you straighten the leg, take a breath in, then you let the arrow fly and breathe out. So we do this 5 times. So next time I'm just going to keep the knee bent as I draw the arms back, turn the palms down, gaze over the front arm for 5 breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. As you move to the end of your fifth breath, you have some options. You can either turn and face the long end of the mat as I'm standing, or you can flip the back heel up and step up. So you can do the other side, gazing forward. If I was here, I would just go the other side. So now put your other foot in front, step back into your crescent pose, drop the heel. When you drop that heel, roll all the way out on that pinky toe side, bring the front knee bent. You're gonna feel a little more opening in the groins. And then the hips and the chest turn away from the front leg. Remember that knee sometimes comes along, so you wanna bring it back and hold it there. Bringing the arms up, thumbs up, gaze at the front hand, grab hold of your bow. The back hand comes around, it grabs the arrow, and as you pull the arrow back, you straighten the front leg, pull the elbow back, and then let the arrow fly and your breath fly. So 5 of these. This one, you're coming into your warrior, so you're going to keep the knee bent, palms go down, anchor your shoulders, deepen into warrior 2, 5 breaths. As you move from your last breath, again, you can pivot on the back foot to step up to the end of the mat, or you can just turn that front leg and you're facing sideways, and then walk your feet in. Okay, so let's come down onto the mat, do a little strengthening. You can be on your palms, you can be on your knuckles. If need be, you can be on your forearms. Try not to use your hands as you come down. So I'm going to be on my hands, and hands and knees, and I'm going to come up to a downward dog. Again, palms, knuckles, or even your forearms if you need be. So present your hands mindfully under your shoulders, hands not too close together, shoulders over your hands, knees under your hips, toes turned under. So this is the kind of baby downward dog. You can straighten the legs, but if it doesn't feel good to your back, keep your knees bent. So we do 5, and then when we come down on the 5th one, we don't touch our knees. We hover, just hover, 5 breaths. So if you did it here, you would go to down dog, and then hover here. If you did it on your knuckles, you'd go to down dog, and then when you hover here. So everybody's good with their options? Let us begin. Here's your first down dog. Okay, now I'm gonna hover, gaze outward, 5 breaths. And when ready, if need be, set the knees down. Okay, let's go for a second time. Down dog. As you finish your fifth one, come down and hover. 5 breaths. Chin up. As you move to your last breath, we're going to come down and sit. And you can bring your feet in front. That was fun, don't you think? Okay, so the hands will go behind you and the knees will be up, and this way we're gonna kind of let things go. So feet together, you can leave them entirely together or you can let them slide by one another. Should feel better, yes? Ah, feels good to my shoulders. So we're going to do some movement through our hips. It'll be on our hands and knees. Very reminiscent of a dog at a fire hydrant, because we're going to move through it with a bent knee, the hip joint. We'll move it 5 times, then we're going to hold the thigh parallel with the knee bent to ground. Then we'll go the other way 5, and then hold the leg parallel. If you want to make it a bird dog where the leg that's bent, your opposite arm goes forward, you can do that. Let me show you what I'm thinking, and you could say, I'm not sure what that is. So again, from your palms, your knuckles, or your forearms. So the same setup. So here's the holding position, option 1, and here's the holding position, option 2, with 5 breaths. So the movement part is knee opens, comes up towards your shoulder and drops down, and then out. Sorry, it just kind of tweaked my knee. So it goes around 5 times, and then you either hold the leg up with your hands down or you do the modified bird dog with the knee bent. Then we'll go the other way. Then we'll go to child's pose and do the other side. So moving 5 with your breath, I'm going to say breathe out as the leg goes around, in when it comes back. So you have really good support through your core as you're moving that leg from its hip jump. Okay, let's go. Doesn't matter which leg, we're going to do both legs anyway. Chin up. Okay, so pick up the leg you're going to work, and let's begin. I have one more, and now I'm going to hold. As you come to your last breath, if you have an arm up, put it down. Now we're going to bring the knee forward instead of lifting it to the side. So the bent knee comes forward, breathe out, inhale, open up. And again, you can either hold that leg and look forward, or you can lift an arm. 5 breaths. And relax in child's pose or puppy dog. So if the compression on the knee going back doesn't work for you, you can go down here. Okay, we've had a rest with our hands, our hips, our backs. So I'm going to turn around. You don't have to, you can just do it whichever way you want. So this is the one where it goes up and around, then holding, then, no, it goes back and around, open and around. So it's the come on over one, okay? All fours. Flex foot. This should feel different. And then the knee opens and breathe out. So now you can stay here, opposite arm reaching if you wish, 5 breaths. If your hand is up, you're going to put it down. Now as you breathe out, bring the knee forward. Inhale up. And again, you can raise the opposite arm or just stay. As you move to your last breath and back to child's pose or puppy dog. Careful with your knees, she says out loud. Okay, it's time to flip over on our back side, kind of keeping with that 5 thing. We're going to be in bridge pose. We're going to do a bridge pose with just one leg up in the air and one leg on the floor, lifting and lowering the hips, and then holding in that bridge pose. So there are some variations as to the leg. If you find that when you're on your back and you're in this bridge pose and you have one leg up, even if it's bent or straight, that just feels inappropriate, then you put both feet down. You can do the 5 up and down and hold for the 5 breaths with both feet. We'll do it twice. So if you're going to do one leg, you could do the other leg. So the easiest way to do it, one knee bent and up here. The harder way to do it is leg out at the diagonal. So it's not down here and it's not up here. It's in that in-betweeny place. So you would go up and down 5 times and then you would hold it there for 5 breaths. Now, if you wanted to challenge yourself more, rather than hands grounding, you can either let them hover or you can even just take the hands out of the equation altogether. So you decide which option will be better. So we go up and down 5 times, not fast, and then hold 5 breaths with the leg out or up. Okay, pick a position with one leg or 2 feet, and we go. Now, once you come to your 5th one, you start your breath. When you've completed, you'll put both feet down and lower your hips. Now I did my hard leg first, and I go to my easier leg. So you raise the other leg, either up or out, and when you're ready, you go. And then you hold 5 breaths. Setting both feet down. So whether you did 2 feet or 1 feet, we're all going to do 2 feet together. So make sure you probably could put your hands down because you're not going to use them. So we go. So much easier. On your 5th one, you hold. Feel free to tuck your shoulders in and bind and elevate higher. 5 breaths. If you tuck your shoulders under and put your hands together like I did, go ahead, scoot them out and descend from the upper back, through the middle back, through the lower back, and then relax the hips. You'd probably want to bring your knees in, so go ahead. So I'm going to roll to my side, position up on my elbow, just so I can chat with you. So we have done a lot of strengthening for our quads, that being on all fours, like the bear crawl thing almost, and the warriors, a lot of holding into the quads. So we're going to stretch those quads. So I do it on my elbow, but you're welcome to just lay down on your side. If you're up here, don't sink into it though. So bringing the knee up, gotta watch out for my fireplace. Slide the hand down around your shin or ankle. Drawing the foot back parallel to ground. So when you look at your leg, the knee is not popped up, and it's also not down on your other leg. It's going parallel, and then kick the foot like doing the bow pose, and push the hip forward. Heavy, heavy foot. Now bring the leg that you were putting behind you, it doesn't matter which one, bring it in front and set it down on the floor in front of the knee. Bring yourself all the way up to a seated position, eventually dropping down the hip that was up, so you end up with one knee up, crossed over the bottom leg. Now, if you don't like this bottom leg bent, it's just not comfortable for you, you can extend it out in front and be here. I think I'll just be here, it's happier for my knee. Hold whichever knee is up with the opposite arm, the hand, the elbow, the upper arm as you wish. Use the other arm now that's free to help keep your spine long so that we tend to our back swell. Whichever shoulder is behind you, draw that shoulder back, get very tall, and turn and look as best you can behind you. As you come to your 5th breath, slowly return yourself center. Lay on your other side so we could do the quad stretch. It was so nice I could look at the lilies as I turned. So you get on your other side. Again, you could do this down here. Grab the shin, grab the knee, gently bring the heel back, drop the leg down, lean forward. Remember, the foot isn't too high. Feel your thighs. So as we finish this, we let the leg come forward and the foot goes down to the floor in front of the knee. Bring yourself up to a seated position. So this bum that's up needs to sit down. You're not sitting on the touch leg. And if you don't like the leg here, like I did on the other side, stretch it out. This knee's going to want to pull down, so use the opposite hand or elbow or upper arm to hold it up. Get very, very tall as you use the hand of the shoulder behind you to prop you up. Take a breath in and turn and look behind you. As you finish your fifth breath and return yourself back center, you're going to take the top leg off and put the bottom of the feet together. This is where sitting on a blanket, a pillow, or a towel could be helpful. As to where your feet are, your choice. Some people like them very tight to their torso. Some like them a little further away, depending on various things. But let's move our buns away. So we have that good presence of our sit bones. Lift up nice and tall by holding onto your shins towards your ankles. And then you do that hinge as you bring the heart forward as we go quieting into Uttanasana and Bandha Konasana. Forward fold with the bottom of our feet together in cobbler's pose. So now I let my head bow down, looking or putting my head on my feet. Mindfully engage your bandhas. Leave your head down. I'm not doing anything except slowly straightening my spine up, giving it lots of time to get back upright. So inner thigh, we're going to do this from laying on the floor, and I know for some people it's a challenge. If you took a block, a pillow, I'm going to grab my blanket here to show you with the options. If you elevate your hips, it can be a little bit easier for you to get your feet. So if I put my hips up on this, it's not that high, and elevate my hips, which is just very nice. That way when I bring my knees in and part them like we just did, I have a pretty good option to be able to open my legs. That's not the only way to do it. I do like to work because I have a little more mobility, and some of you have even more than I do. So you want to meet your needs for the adductors. So if you're laying on the floor without an elevation, because that helps you get those legs straight and as wide as possible, even with your hips on the blanket or towel, you want to feel like you're slightly arching the back. And the same for those of us who would not be using anything. So once you get to Bandha Konasana, either grabbing the big toes, the feet, the ankles, and you open those legs, the tendency is for the hips to go up. That's why I gave you something to elevate your hips. But if you don't need that, I want you to feel like you're putting a little space. It's not much. a little space under your low back, and that will give you a little more out of those inner thighs. So as you melt out of this position, softening at your joints and your hips, if you have something under you, put your feet down, lift up the hips and pull it out, please. Then as you're laying on the long end of your mat, bring your feet so they're together and scoot, let's just say your left foot over to the edge of the mat. Can you feel it on the edge of the mat? Then take your right foot over to the left foot, either holding them side by side or crossing your right foot over your left. That might be a bit much, but if you want to, you could do that. Then bring your hands together and lift them over your chest. Use the left hand to grab the right wrist, moving the arms gently over your head. Now using the left hand, pull the right arm so you go to the left edge of the mat. If you stood above yourself, you would see yourself in a crescent or a crescent moon shape. As you prepare to release, soften the elbows. The arms will fall apart. You'll bring yourself back. You'll either move that left leg and right leg back so they come toward the center of the mat. Now moving the right foot to the right edge of the mat, you can feel it. Scoot your left foot over next to the right foot or cross it over if that's appropriate. Now the right hand grabs your left wrist. Arms go overhead. Gently pull on the left wrist. 5 breaths. As you find your way coming to your last breath, you soften the elbows. You feel the tension release so you can then bring the arms down, bring those legs back center, and either rock yourself to a seated position or maybe it's better for you to roll to your side to come up. Yeah. So we're going to finish on our bellies. As you come to your belly, be on your forearms. Tops of the feet down. So be the turtle in the shell and then be the turtle out of the shell. So we go down and press up. We do this 5 times, then stay at the top for 5 breaths with an addition, well, just stay at the top for 5 breaths. We'll leave it at that. So down and up. As you're up, 5 breaths, gaze outward. So new move, stay on your forearms. If it begins to feel too much, move your elbows forward. So you're going to lift and lower the pelvis, coming up lightly on your knees 5 times. Then you're going to hold the hips up 5 breaths. We begin. And you're going to hold it up 5 breaths. On your own terms, as you finish your 5th breath, you're going to walk your elbows back towards your legs and into a child's pose or puppy dog. Let's finish with a little bit for our toes and then we'll go to Shavasana. So as you come up, turn those toes under. Depending on you, your knees and all your toes, you back your hips up until you feel the toes bending. If this is untenable and you'd rather not do it from that direction, you can bring yourself up and then just press into one foot and then do the other foot. But doing this one gets both feet. I'm going slow, I'm being mindful, good for me. So sometimes the toes have absolutely no issue, but we want to be mindful. I think this prepares us for when we're just out living life. We know that there might be a problem, and yet we just like plow right through it, and then we wish we hadn't have done it. Well, at least that's me. So now I'm trying to be a little more mindful in my approach, especially when it comes to my body. If you need a break before me, go ahead and give yourself a break. And then we'll just all set up for Shavasana. So as you move your way into wherever you can, I hope you've allowed yourself this time, either put a blanket, blankets weight on us. That's why perhaps you sleep so much better in the winter with a heavy object on you. It just tends to make you relax more. You can put a blanket, a pillow under your knees. You can lay on your side, you can lay on your belly. So I give you a few moments to get set up into the position that you would best like to rest in. So this is the do nothing part of our practice. Doing nothing is an important part of our practice, as we know. We usually just want to get on with things and go, go, go. And sometimes that is the case and needs to be done. But when you can find these moments, then when you need them, wherever you are, even in a group of people, you can find this internal quiet space. It's hard, but that's why we practice. So once you get yourself all tucked up in your little position, give your body, as we have worked it today, a chance to relax. And maybe what we did today was not so hard for you, and that's okay. Maybe it was a challenge, and that too is okay. The fact that we brought our mind body together to pay attention is the point. So now rest that body, the heaviness of the head and the shoulders and the torso, and the hips and the legs and the feet. Just surrender onto the earth. Be aware that your breath is slowing. And you can stay with that breath and just ride the tide. You can go to the ocean and view the tide. You can go to the river and watch it flow. You can sit from a mountaintop and take in the view. Be in this quiet time until I ring the singing bowl, and let this time be yours. And so deepen the breath and wiggle the fingers. And tune into my words for today. Rather than reading a saying from a book, I'm going to share a story from my own personal experience, having attended a concert from a violinist by the name of Lindsay Sterling. She was very forthcoming in her thoughts and awareness, self-awareness in particular. And she introduced one of her songs, I forget what it was called, something about the moon. And she said at some point she looked up at the moon and it was just a sliver, just a sliver. And as she sat looking at that moon, she kind of correlated it to her being. And she said, most of that moon is dark except for just a little bit of bright light. And she thought she was a bit like that. She thought there were moments where she felt really dark, but she knew there was a little light in there. And she knew the rest of the moon was there, and she knows there's full brightness in her. So she came to understand that there are the seasons where we feel less of ourselves, our bright, shiny, full moon selves. And there's times when we're half of that, or just a quarter of that, or a sliver of that. And I thought that was very intuitive of her. And I liked what she said, and that's why I wanted to share it with you, because that is the ebb and the flow, the yin and the yang, the hatha of yoga. There is a balance and understanding that maybe when most of that moon is dark, that it will shine again little by little. So it's always good to look at ourselves anew, and perhaps that is that for you. Bring yourself to a seated position, and as you sit, mindfully, of course, with the bandhas and the breath and the relaxation through the neck and the shoulders. The arms lift and float and join together, and then with palms at heart, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Thank you for participating. Have a good rest of your day.